creation video. Here we are back in the shop working on this motor. As you can see behind me, I've got a couple of the roller rockers set up. So I've gone with that 10mm packer, and I have confirmed with the company that did the head that we could have taken some extra distance off the valve. It's the only way to change the geometry. But I don't really want to do that. These are stainless steel valves, and quite often they're hardened on the end of the stem. And as soon as you take that off, you've got to re-harden the end of the stem, and it means you've got to pull the whole head apart, pull the valves out, get them machined, all that. But anyway, I've had confirmed that this is a pretty standard practice, even though I've had some interesting comments. It's been really good, actually. A lot of people talked about the push rods, but the push rods have absolutely nothing to do with it. It's all controlled by the pedestal height where the roller rocker sits on. And that's what I found. So I've had to jack these up 10mm. 10mm has them sitting beautifully and rolling very central on the end of that stem. And I'll show you these couple, and then I'll show you the parts that I made. So here's number 1 and number 5 set up now, and there's a tiny little adjuster, as you can see on the top of these. These are platinum Yellow Terror roller rockers with a 1.65 ratio. Now standard is 1.5. And the thing that changes is the distance from the axis point to where the push rod sticks in. So these, it's actually shorter on the 1.65s, which gives you a little bit more lift and a little bit more opening, which I don't mind. But I did, when I eyebrowed these, if you look back through my other videos, I eyebrowed them with a 1.5 in mind. So I did go extra clearance on them, and I think they should be okay. But once I get the roller rockers all set up, that'll be one of the first tests, is rotate the motor through complete cycle and make sure there's no binding on the edge of the cylinder bores is the biggest problem. But I think it should be good. I think it should be good. So I'm pretty confident with that. So you can see number 1 is set up, looking good, and number 5 is set up. Here's a little bit of packer production on the lathe. I don't part off on the lathe because it's a shocker, so I just scribed a line around them with the tool and cut them off with a 4-inch grinder. And now I'll do the facing on them and get them ready to set up and install those roller rockers. So over here on the table, I've got everything set up and ready to go. They're my new bolts that I've bought. Damn expensive. You know, it's nearly half the price of a full set of roller rockers. But I've made these spacers up. They're all 10mm, and these are the mounts that came with the roller rockers. And I now have a full set of 2-inch bolts spare. So if there's anyone out there looking for some bolts, they will be going at a reduced price, and I'd be very happy to move those on and maybe reclaim some of the money I spent on buying a new set of bolts. Here it is, people, finally set up, and it all turns over, which is the main thing, because I was a little bit concerned about the lift on those 1.65 ratio roller rockers, but it's all worked out. And I've actually sat the rocker cover on as well and nipped it down, and it all turned over again. Not to say it won't tap, but it turns over, so there's no binding on anything in the cylinders or at the rocker cover. So you can't ask for much better than that. Now, this does have a massive amount of lift. It's been built for forced induction, and that head has been massively ported out, close to match ported with the manifold. It's a sonic injection manifold that has been modified to take the M90 supercharger with injection ports in the manifold. So they're looking pretty sweet down through there. Nice big ports for that fuel to flow in, and then nice big stainless steel valve for it to run down into the cylinders. So I've had a few questions about these bolts here. I did this on a previous motor. These come from racebolts.com.au. They're a titanium bolt. These are actually, I think, an ARP nut. But down here you'll see I was too short because I sold the last set on a car. So I had to buy 2 more, and they're the titanium nut that they come with, titanium nut and washer. Really nice bit of gear. Holds the load very well. And also I do have a copper gasket sitting on here. That gasset's been on a few motors. And yes, it's got to be annealed up again before I fit up the manifold. But at this stage, I'm just sitting everything on there and getting it ready. So what our plan for this little beast this time is, because I haven't got the car ready to go, is we're going to build an engine stand and get it all set up and get it running outside the car. I do have a Haltech 750 Elite ECU and harness, which will be adapting to this motor. It was running previously on an EMS ECU, and I just wanted to move up to the Haltech. The EMS basically went out of business and you couldn't get any support for them. So I'll show you the supercharger. I'm sure you've possibly seen it before unless you're a new subscriber. So we'll have a look at this gear. So this is the supercharger setup that I'll be running. I have had said that it's a bit small for what I've done in the motor now, but I don't care. I'm not after max horsepower with this thing. Just a beautiful little motor with some incredibly unique parts on it. So this is the manifold, which has been custom built to suit the M90 supercharger or Eaton supercharger. And you can see that it's been fitted out with the injection ports there, and it has a fuel rail that runs on that. The snout is actually a Yellow Terror snout, which is really nice. That was quite unique to this kit. It was the second last kit of this style. It was actually the last kit, but one more was built out for a friend of the gentleman that built this. And this, other than the cam in this motor, this supercharger has been the catalyst for my 6-banger journey. It was seeing this advertised that inspired me when I just bought a little UC Tirana, which had this 202 in it. Had this motor in it when I bought it, and it was pretty rough and not running real well. But it was also supplied with the original 173 that it came out of the factory with. So I put the 173 back in it years later and sold it off and kept this motor and have built it up. So that's the gear. The supercharger will be nice sitting on the edge of that motor. Bit of weight hanging out there, so I'll have to work on that brace to keep it held up. But that's the gear. Rightio people, I'm just starting to dress this motor up. As I've said earlier, we plan on getting this motor running on an engine stand. And that's what I'm working towards. I've got to buy some engine mounts. I do have some old ones over there down the bottom of the cupboard, but I don't like them and I'm a bit fussy. So I want to buy some new engine mounts for it. And I've just fitted the oil pump. I did do a little bit of dressing on the inlet port and match ported it with the pump, sealed all that up, and then dressed it to match so it gets decent flow going in. As you can see, I've put the external pickup plate on, which goes down here to the ASR sump. And I've just started fitting one side cover. Because these are so modified, and you can see in here, these have been taken off. There is a limited amount of thread in there, but enough to grab onto. So I've had to buy longer bolts, and I'm running like a fibre washer plus also a rubber washer under there. And I've dressed these bolts as I've gone, just to get them binding correctly with the amount of thread and getting a bit of pressure on here. So anyway, that's where I'm at, guys. I'll dress this up and get it close so that I can take it off this engine stand, and I plan on building a run stand and setting it up to see if we can get it going. Keep watching, there's plenty more to come, and thanks for all of the comments, all of the likes, all of the love, especially on the Holden 6-banger side. Really nice feedback from you guys there. Really appreciate it. Take care.